the Gym Cats at the U of A. It's all live on the Pac-12 network. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Watson, alongside Alyssa Mao, and welcome to Montlake, where, as we look at these two teams, both on paper and on the floor, to me, they look like mirror images of one another.
You know, they are very similar teams. Washington ranked 35th, Arizona at 37th. Both have yet to put together an ideal meet.
Yeah.
Both coaches talked about wanting to hit 24 routines for the first time this season.
Alyssa, let's talk about UW first. They're ranked 35th right now, but they're trending upwards. 195 and a couple of meets in a row. Restarting here with 3 new coaches, 3 freshmen, and a transfer, but they still have Skylar.
This sophomore, Skylar Killa-Wilhelm, has just come into her own this season. She is 10th on the nation on the bars. She is 13th on beam. She has not scored under a 9.9 on the beam and will compete for the all-around title tonight. Now, her freshman teammate, Lana Navarro, has burst onto the scene last week. She went 9.9 on beam in her debut on the event. It was her first time in the lineup. She hit 9.9. She also boasts UW's only 10.0 start value on vault and will compete a dynamic floor routine at the end of the meet.
When you've been around as long as I am, you always know that they had a sister, Lauren. Her sister was at Stanford back in the day and was a star. Let's talk about Arizona, also ranked in the 30s, at 33rd right now. And this is a team that has put up a different event high each week of the season. They could go 196 if they put it all together. They're led by rising rookies like the freshman Allison Fears.
Yeah, Allison was an incredibly accomplished club athlete, comes with great difficulty on all 4 events, and is just continuing to build confidence week in and week out in her young career. She's the reigning level 10 national bar champion, and her teammate Emily Muller, a really, really consistent gymnast from North Carolina. She has hit all 12 of her routines in her young career thus far. Look for her to lead off for Arizona on bars. And then also, she hit a season high on beam at UCLA last week with a 9.9. So excited to see what these 2 freshmen can bring to John Port's team.
Both Muller and Fears posted career highs in their all-arounds last week in Westwood. The kids are all right. 2 teams who match up well. Means competitive gymnastics should go down to the final rotation. That's all we ask. That's not much. Arizona and Washington fighting like cats and dogs, and it's live on the Pac-12 network. You knew it was coming. Across Lake Union, looking at downtown Seattle and the Space Needle, which was put up for the World's Fair back in 1962. Good crowd gathering inside Alaska Airlines Arena on campus in Montlake. And there's John Court, head coach of the University of Arizona. Johnny is Arizona Gymnastics. He's been on campus for 24 years now in his 4th season. With the clipboard under his arm, he led UA to the regionals and the number 27 ranking last year. A proud graduate of Johnson and Wales back in Providence, Rhode Island. Why is that significant? You know what their mascot is? The Wildcats.
Oh, look at that symmetry.
Natural. And on the other side, the rookie who's come home. It's Jen Llewellyn. Of course, a lot of you will remember her as Jen Kessler back in the day, a first-team All-American at Oregon State, Pac-12 bars champion back in 2009. But for the last decade, she was at Lindenwood in St. Louis, Division II school, winning national championships. 2-time USA Gymnastics Coach of the Year. And it's great to have her back in the conference. I think this is a perfect spot for her. You're very close to this program. Why is she the right fit?
She is a local product. She attended her first ever college meet when she was 6 years old, was in this arena. She has it in her blood. She wanted to come back to the conference and shows that she can rebuild a program. The Huskies are in need of those skills. She's working on the culture this year. It's about building trust with the coaches, trust with the athletes, and she's the person, the right person at the right time for this program.
I said it was a restart here at Washington, but there's actually quite a bit already in place. It's a great school. Of course, it draws kids from all over the country, and especially here in the Northwest. A lot of kids who grow up in the Seattle area say, I'm going to UW when they're 10 years old, and they do.
And this is one of them, the freshman Ashley Blum.
Ashley Blum starts us off on the vault.
Really solid. Yurchenko full. She has a pretty significant pike down at the end. You'll see towards the end of this lineup, senior Geneva Thompson has done that vault perfectly. So we'll have an example from which we can judge. I think that'll probably be in the low 9.7s, but a solid vault.
Up first on bars for Arizona, Emily Muller.
Emily Muller will lead off on the bars. One of our all-arounders for Arizona, but Muller and Fears going in all 4 today for the Gym Cats.
And she will do a big Tkachev here. She lacks a little bit of rotation. You can see her swing sort of dies at the bottom. but does a good job to continue, keeps the form throughout. Very nice definition in the handstand on the top of the bar. So important to show the control, and unfortunately just couldn't quite stay down for that stick. You want to see the gymnast absorb the landing.
Trying to cover it just at the end. She has not reached 9.8 yet on bars, but she is coming off a personal best in the all-around at UCLA last week, 39.150.
The judges want to see a 180 handstand, which she hit, and then you could
Heels?
see...
Land on the heels a little bit?
Exactly. You want to make sure you are gripping with your toes and your heels equally.
Check the scores as we bounce back and forth. Both of these teams really close in their season highs. Washington went 195.450 against Cal. Arizona has gone just a touch better, 195.5 in its opener at Southern Utah. Start value on the left, judges score on the right, and a 9.725. So remember, 6 compete, 5 score. You can drop your low score.
And Kenny Davis here, a transfer from Arizona. So this is her 4th meet as a Husky. She spent 3 seasons on the Arizona team.
And she has had triplets, and I mean by scores, this year. I didn't want her parents to have a heart attack. 9.75, 3 times, trying to get above that number.
Oh, unfortunately, yeah, you could tell she was really going for the stick there. She had a nice body position, trying to stay straight, not pike down for the landing, and unfortunately just didn't quite have the momentum to do that. Her block was a little bit flat, so she was high on, didn't get the repulsion that she wanted, and unfortunately will be a fall there.
You think she's feeling a little extra pressure because she knows everybody in the visiting Leos?
Absolutely.
They're all her friends now. Comes out with a smile like a veteran. Arizona, beginning on the bars, is ranked 48th in the country. Arizona's got to bump their numbers, their average numbers on all of these events. They are last in the conference on 3 events, including bars.
That was a very nice handstand by Serena Linton. Unfortunately, that Takacha really low, so we'll have some amplitude deductions there. Nice connection on the low bar there from the Vail handstand right into the soul circle, and a good handstand that you can tell they are really going for the details today, and a beautiful double layout. We'll see if the gymnasts give that college stick or not. I think her feet slid just a little bit, but a really nice ending after the low release move in the middle. I like her technique. She winds up into the double layout. I'm gonna call that a stick.
Sure, why not? I'm good with it. Scores have been generous this year in collegiate gymnastics. We'll talk more about that as the day wears on. Maybe you want to Google Michigan Gymnastics. Only the second bars routine of the year for Linton. Back over to Washington. Of course, Davis ended up on her knees after the fault, so they're going to want to drop that score. And here comes Skylar Killow-Wilhelm. First of 4 today for her.
And a nice Yurchenko fall. She did pike down at the end there, which led to that large hop, but I liked the distance and the amplitude. She got nice repulsion off of the horse.
We know Skylar's hyper talented. Would this be her weakest event, or shall we say the most potential to gain?
I would say the most potential to gain. She needs to learn to find that landing, trust herself in the air a little bit more. When you pike down at the end, that's because you don't feel super confident in where you are in the air. And so if she stayed open, she would have found that landing a little bit better.
9.8 for Muller, 9.825 for Linton, and gives way to Big Mac. Mackenzie Kane, who was a U of A camper growing up, so homegrown product in Tucson, Highland High School, and Carter's Gymnastics. Didn't compete at UCLA, has had some mixed results on this event, had a 9.8 in Southern Utah.
And unfortunately, that blind change shows a half turn on the high bar to go into her Jaeger release move, and just didn't have enough energy, enough execution to really get that blind change over. Like I said, they're really honing in on the details, and sometimes that means you're going too hard for the handstand. You'll either fall over or not, in that case, not fall over like she wanted to. You know, she's the lone senior on the team. She's a bar specialist, But Coach Court said they have a lot of depth in this lineup, so she's really been competing for this spot. So unfortunate to see her have to take that fall. See, makes the blind change that time, and too far out on that Jaeger. At this point, she's just going to hop up and finish the latter half of that routine.
It's Peter Jansen walking, the assistant coach with the U of A. And you know she's a senior. It's a tough moment for her. She was at the club level, she was the Arizona State champion on this event.
Yeah, you can tell she has a beautiful swing. She has a really dynamic sense. And obviously the difficulty there with the double front. Just a disappointing routine that she'll want to forget about, and the Wildcats will look to recover from.
So Skylar Killow-Wilhelm goes 9-8, and here comes Navarro with the only 10 start value on the page for UW.
She will do the Yurchenko with a 1.5 twist, so she lands forward. She's had mixed results on the landing thus far. Let's see if she can spot it.
9-8 at Cal, looking for better here. I think she got it.
Really nicely done, just that hop forward. She's got a few little form breaks in the air. Now we see this at a different angle than the judges do. So her legs split a little bit, but she does a nice job of opening up at that 1.5 mark to stop the rotation and find the landing. This freshman just continues to get better with each meet.
Well, she's already been good on both, vault and beam, and now just trying to get better on floor.
Right.
Gymnastics, the most smiles and the most hugs for your dollar. You don't see that on a football sideline too much.
Yeah, it's a good way to calm the nerves. That's what's, the teammates play that role of boosting you up, calming your nerves if you have to wait a long time. For this, Helena Dietz here.
Speaking of waiting.
Yeah, she's going to have a long wait here as the judges decide what to do with that last routine. Mackenzie Kane missed a lot of connections. Her start value is going to be... She's about at 175, but the quality of her swing, she's the reigning junior national champion. When she did that identical bar routine to win the junior national championships. Fantastic job by the freshman.
Twice has gone 9.85 with that routine. And I think you're right. I think Peter Jansen, the assistant coach, and maybe John Core went over and said, listen, we don't need a 9.975 here. We need like a 9.85 plus. We gotta finish the rotation.
Right, and finish it she did with an exclamation point on that double layout. Fantastic job by the freshman. We'll see her in all 4 events tonight.
The high for Arizona so far this year on bars, 49.050. That was in their opener at Southern Utah. They went 48.825 against UCLA last week. This should be above that score. But math is not my strong suit, so we'll wait until it's official. Meantime, for Washington, now, still haven't gotten the score in for Cunningham. There it is. Now it's in. Cunningham goes 9.875, and Washington puts up a 49.125. Great opener for both teams over 49.